Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining me for Tao of the Day. This is Martin John, and I am here to present Tao of the Day. What is the Tao of the Day? If you don't know, where you been? No, if you don't know, that's cool because the Tao of the Day revolves around the Tao Te Ching, and the Tao Te Ching is an ancient text written about 600 BCE, and that was around the same time a lot of scholars believe that the Old Testament was written. So this is considered an ancient text. See, when we got written language, we didn't know what the fuck to write down, right? We didn't understand, like, what do you write down? And so that's what ancient texts are. There were kind of things that were worthy of writing down because people weren't inspired to write things down because we just started writing and not everybody knew how to write. And so it was a very select group of things that got written down because a lot of people didn't know why you would write anything down. You just tell stories. And there are philosophers who believe that writing things down was bad because you would lose faculty with your mind because memorizing, right? How many of you, when I was a kid, I had like, I knew, I don't know, like I'm just going to throw out a number, a dozen different people's phone numbers. I'd be able to pick up the phone and dial it without having to look it up. Well, I can't do that anymore. Not to say that I wouldn't be able to do that. It would just be about like, well, either repetition or putting myself in a position of like wanting to memorize phone numbers. I remember the time when, the first girlfriend that I didn't know her phone number that I had. I was just like, wow, I wonder if that means that I don't like love her. And it's like, well, that's not the case. It's just like I don't love memorizing phone numbers. That's all. Um, so it was all about like, like so when we look at writing things down, and I've been thinking about this a lot, this idea of like evolution and the idea of like, well, what do we put our attention on? Where do we put our attention and our energy and all that kind of stuff? And I keep coming back to the Tao, and the Tao Te Ching is this text that is kind of like the first self-help book, right? And it's not really self-help as much as it's like getting you connected to your source, getting you connected to all that you are, getting you connected to Tao. You is it, as it states in the Tao, life is a gift received from Tao, and we receive that gift. And everything, every little thing, every atom in the universe is sustained by Tao in support of that gift that you received of your life. And so when we look to Tao, we look at this thing that gave us life and is sustaining all things for this life so that I can mature, so that I am in a position of being able to mature in a natural course. And that's what we're here doing. That's what life is. Life is just a journey of maturation. And as we mature, what the Tao looks at is how can we surrender? How can we surrender more? And surrender has been really a huge part of my life right now. Like surrender to this moment. Surrender to what is in this moment. Everything else is just stupid. Like everything is so stupid. I don't know if you've been feeling this. Like every external thing that you experience, it's like, sure, you have your things. Those things are great. Everything else, stupid. And that doesn't mean that nothing has value. It does have value to those people who it has value for. But for you, it's stupid. Whether it's social media or another fucking program or another show or another news broadcast or another weather related event, it's all stupid. And we all have to deal with what we're dealing with. And so as we deal with what we're dealing with, we just step forward and allow and surrender. And what I present on Tao of the Day, which is stupid, it's just stupid like anything else. But I'm here doing it because it's part of me. It's part of my journey. I don't care if it's stupid. And it is stupid. It's absolutely stupid. I don't think so in this moment while I'm doing it. Maybe even sometimes I do. Maybe it is stupid for me to do this. And maybe I think that. And that's okay. because that's just what it is right now. You know, when I look at Tao, and I'm going to pick number 62 today. I have this, I'm looking at it, and it's titled Everybody's Treasure. And it is, Tao is everybody's treasure. And when we look back at writing, and we look back at history, and we look back at things, like there's all of this stuff that just, we just keep growing. You know, writing things down was stupid at some point. And then we just accepted it as being what it is. Now everybody knows how to read and write, which was not the case 100 years ago. A very small group of people knew how to read and write 100 years ago. Now almost everybody does. You know, is that bringing us to a better place? I don't know. It's not for me to say. But this was written in 600 BCE, at the beginning of writing. You know, at that point, almost nobody could read and write. And those who didn't utilize that skill to journal. Right here we are, like, we're journaling, and we're just writing things down just because we can. So I'm going to read number 62, and if you have a number between 1 and 80 you'd like to select and have me read with you, let me know, and I can read it to you, and then we'll go through it line by line, section by section. However your Tao reads, we will figure out how to go through it so that we can best understand what it's saying for this moment for you. So today I'm picking number 62, Everybody's Treasure. Tao benefits all things. A treasure for those who know, an opportunity for those who don't. To witness one act or speak to gain position, know they are under the influence of manifestation. Be like Tao and do not abandon them, for knowing Tao is learned by example. Therefore, when a new leader takes office, don't offer words, gifts, or actions. Offer instead to teach them Tao. Why is Tao so universally loved? Because if you acknowledge it or not, Tao is your treasure, always in harmony, every mistake forgiven. So, every moment we are connected to Tao. Every moment we are benefiting from Tao, and we are benefiting from, like I mentioned earlier, like all life is a gift from Tao, and everything is sustained from Tao. So Tao benefits all things. Like the house that I'm living in right now is being sustained for my life, and I am being sustained for its. So anything that I do for the house, like any repairs I make, are for the house, helping sustain the house. I am being sustained so that the house can live a better life. And the house is being sustained so that I can. So when we start this line, Tao benefits all things. As it sustains me, Tao works through me to help others. As it sustains others, others work to sustain me. And I am whole in that way. Coach Nicole asked for 250. Well, it is between 1 and 81. So, I can take number 15. If you don't want to come up, I can go ahead and I see you're typing. Yeah, if you want to come up, you can. If you can't, no big deal. But yeah, number 15. So I can go back. Let me take a pause on 62. I can always return to 62. So number 15 reads, and like these are okay. You are gonna come. That's great.
Good morning.
Nicole, how are you?
I'm
Good morning.
great. Happy Tuesday.
So happy Valentine's Day, my love.
Thank you.
So yeah, so we have the Tao Te Ching. Are you familiar with the Tao?
No, this is all new.
Okay, so the Tao Te Ching is an ancient text written about 600 BCE, and it consists of 81 short chapters of how to live a more reasonable life. And what that means is how to live a life where we don't request others to change for us, but we inspire change through our actions and things of that nature.
Okay.
Okay, and so number 15 is entitled Ancient Tao. Now,
Okay.
it states the ancient master's ability to comprehend the mystery was so profound and subtle that they were often misunderstood. One can only describe how they must have appeared. Careful as someone hearing ice crack midway through crossing a lake. Observant as someone surrounded by toxic threats. Courteous as a guest in awe of her host. Unpretentious as a felled branch in a wood. Vacant as someone staring into space. And dull as a man with nothing to boast about. Can you be still, adding nothing until the mud settles and it gives you the opportunity to see clearly? Can you be still until, on its own accord, the next action presents itself to you? The master has no need for herself. She doesn't seek or expect attention. Not needing to appease herself, she has no requests. What are your thoughts?
Um, I think it speaks volumes to me because sometimes don't l- I don't let things I don't sit still to let things happen. I tend to make things happen. So I think it's just saying like, sometimes you just gotta sit still and let things unfold and let things happen, you know, and
Yeah,
watch.
go on.
No, no, go ahead.
It's interesting. Like this old idea, and this old meaning like 80s idea of like making things happen and power and control and just like obviousness and the conspicuous consumption and conspicuous activity. It's like everybody can tell what you're about, you know
Hmm.
and when we look at this verse, we're like the ancient master's ability to comprehend the mystery, because life is a mystery, whether we believe in
Yes,
Tao or
yes,
God or anything. Like, there is mystery behind everything,
yes,
and their ability to comprehend the mystery was so profound and subtle they were misunderstood because it wasn't obvious what the hell they were doing. Like, when you go into church, or when you go into a space of meditation and you look around, every individual is doing something different. Some people are
yes,
thinking about their bills. Some people are, you know crying in their hearts. Some people are still, but you don't know what the fuck they're doing. And everywhere you go, where there's conspicuousness, it's like, what they're doing, and they want you to know what they're doing, but is that what they're really doing?
it's true.
You
That
don't
is true.
know. Just because they're proving to you what they're doing doesn't mean that that's actually what they're doing. They're just proving it. And you can prove
Right.
anything these days.
That's true.
And so here, what it's saying is like, hey man, just go about your business.
Yeah.
Just do your thing. And it's saying, one can only describe how they must have appeared. Now, these are people that are lost in mystery. These are the masters that are like literally connected to nature. And they're being misunderstood because, what does it say here? It says, careful as someone hearing ice crack midway crossing a lake. Now, this is how they're described to be seen. Imagine if you were crossing a lake and everything's cool and whatever, it's frozen over, and then right in the middle of it, it cracks. You just
Yeah.
hear it crack. And you're like, how is your posture going to change? Now, if you're in the middle of a conversation, can you imagine how much you need to pay attention to this moment? You can't think about the hors d'oeuvres
Yes.
on the other
Yes.
side of the room when you're
Yes.
in this conversation, because the ice just cracked, and you have to make sure you're aware of your body and your surroundings. Observant
That's a
as
great point.
observant
That's a
as
great
someone
point.
surrounded by toxic threats. If you walk
Yeah.
into, like this is
But
like
I
holiday
mean,
stuff.
think about
Go
that.
on.
I mean, if you are walking across ice and you hear it crack, nine times
Yes.
out of ten, you fall in. You're just like, oh crap! Like it's like, wake up. This is a serious situation here,
Yeah.
and everything that you do will save you, or you're going to fall in, and it might be doomed for you. And I think with the toxic thing is the same thing. I mean, those are
Yes.
like, listen, you know, you got to pay attention to these moments where you are in the midst of something, because the wrong decision that you make could be detrimental.
Yeah, you could open the door to a toxic threat. It's kind of like, you go to an event and it's just filled with people that are like, let's just talk in modern terms, like just filled with bad vibes, negative people, like complaining about shit all the time, dot, 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 dot. You are surrounded by this and you can't leave for whatever reason. This is just where you're living. You're at a grocery
Hmm.
store, everybody's full of shit. And then all of a sudden you have to make sure that you don't open the door, but you also
Yes.
don't bring enough attention to yourself, and also like you got to get out unscathed. And in order to do
Yes.
that, you have to have a really good balance, and you have to be aware of your body without getting nervous and scared, because that's going to draw attention.
Mm.
So you have to be still, and you have to know that you're safe, and you have to be able to traverse whatever comes to you, because that toxic threat, it's
Yeah.
not it's not your fault, but now you're surrounded by it, and that's okay. It's not your fault that you're surrounded by it, but you are now, and you now have to live in this situation.
Mm.
I love this next one. Courteous as a guest, in awe of her host. When you go to an event, when you go to someone's dinner party, let's say, and you bring a host gift, just because it's not what you're supposed to do, but because you love the person, and you're really,
Mhm.
like, and you bring something and you look around and you're like, oh my God, like that host gift that I brought is nothing compared to what is being prepared. I am going to sit down and I'm going to be nice and I'm going to talk to the other guests while they're cooking, and I am going to just bring myself to this event, because I
Mhm.
really am in awe of what is taking place. And I'm going to be present in this moment. And I am going to be a good guest, meaning I'm going to communicate with people. I'm not going to just be like, "Oh, I wanted cream soda." Like so many people. I'm sober, right? I got
That's bringing
22 years clean
attention
and
to
sober.
yourself, though, when you start doing things like
Right.
that.
That's right. It's not about the event. It's not about this moment. It's about you. You're just like, "Oh,
Yeah.
I'm a vegetarian. Oh, I'm a vegan. Oh, I can't do this. I can't do that." And it's just like, "No, be in awe of your host." I love
Yes.
like, although I'm not a big Francophile, like the French have a way of saying that, like a guest should not have requests.
Mm.
Like you just
Wow.
show up, and you are a guest, and you receive what is there. And especially when I think that revolves around food. Like, you do not have food restrictions when you go to someone's home, because
Right.
like that's not about this moment. And eating is about community and about being together. There are a couple others here. Unpretentious as a felled branch in a wood. Imagine, like, you walk in the woods, you see felled branches everywhere, and you don't pay them any mind, but when you do, they're brilliant.
Yeah.
And that's you as well. Like, why bring all this attention to yourself?
Mm.
It's like you can be unpretentious. Vacant as someone staring into space, dull as a man with nothing to boast about. Like, yeah, it's those people that have the most to say. They're just not saying it because they know it's just stupid to say it. Ain't nobody listening. Everybody's worried about themselves. Everybody wants to boast about themselves. So why I, I know in my heart that I am enough. And I don't need something to boast about to make me enough. And this is that, remember when we started, we talked about like go out and be obvious. Be obvious about like what it is you want. Well, you and everybody else. But here we're talking about being present in your life, in the gift of your life right now. That's what this is talking about. And then it asks these questions. Can you be still, adding nothing until mud settles? And it gives you the
Wow,
opportunity to see clearly. When you're
that's
stir-
hard.
when you're stirring up
That's
that
really
mud and saying, "Yeah, I'm look at all that I'm doing." It's like you can't see clearly. All you can see is what you think in your mind. But the mystery is outside of you. The mystery is in the entire universe. And you're stirring up the mud in your little pond and just feeling your body because you can't see beyond it.
Yeah,
And that's the stillness. And everything comes to stillness eventually. You get tired, you get sick, you get ill, you get disturbed, you get sad. All of those things are part of it. Nothing wrong with any of them. But when you can get to the place where you're, you know, still, and then it says, can you
yes,
be still until on its own accord, the next action presents itself to you rather than the other way around, like you taking action to be in control.
yes. That's the challenge. That's going to be the challenge.
Yes. That's a big challenge. It's a challenge to most of us because here in the West, we love to dominate.
Yes,
And in
yes.
the United States, domination is the you know, that's
The epitome of
that's
success.
yes, when you can dominate something, when you can dominate a market, when you can dominate a person. Look at, I mean, from from our humble beginnings, dominating people is really the thing that we have that we have exploited through all sorts of ways, through religion and through laws
Hmm.
and through slavery and through all sorts of stuff, dominating people and making it okay, right? And then talking about it in a way that's like, I'm right, so you can't be in trouble, right? Like
Exactly.
all sorts of ways of dominating over people. And the ancient masters, like we have to understand there's a mystery behind all of this. And it's not about dominating, it's about allowing nature to take its course within us.
Mm,
And like, right, not attaching to the identity of who we think we are. Special. Of course we're special, but no more special than anybody or anything else. This
okay.
one wraps up in these last couple lines. The
Okay.
master has no need for herself. She doesn't seek or expect attention. Not needing to appease herself, she has no requests.
Oh, wow. That's a good one. I
Yeah.
understand it. I understand it. You know, speaks volumes.
Yeah. And it's a big shift from the world of go get it and the world of constantly do and the world of go big or go home and the world of like if you all of those like cute little quips and terms that people use to get us to live under their control because they're doing it, so why we should too. No, we're special. What can we do now? And what does the universe want for us?
Okay.
It is so much more than what we could ever imagine. And I talk about this. Thank you so much, Coach Nicole. It is so much more. When I talk about these things, this one number 15 is really aligned with this. But you, as an individual, have a conscious mind that can understand what is in, like I explained this to someone when I was in an amphitheater or whatever, and there was a chess box on the table. And I said, that which is in that chess box is what you can comprehend. If you think that your life that you can control and desire and have all that you want, like you can only reach what you can comprehend. And that's what's in that little chess box. What's in this amphitheater is the universe. Now, if you let go of what you can comprehend, you have access to everything, all the space in the amphitheater. But if you stick to what you know and you want to go get it, all you can get is what you can comprehend because the mystery is outside of that. And it's about letting go. And like it says at the end here, can you be still until on its own accord, the next action presents itself to you rather than you presenting yourself to the actions around you? Dr. Rao's going to join me, and I'm sure he's got a little something to say. Hey, Dr. Rao, how are you?
Hi Martin, how are you?
I am well. Did you do
Oh
the
yeah,
6 o'clock?
oh, yeah.
Oh, how did it go?
Very well.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. I got your message, and we'll be looking into it.
Yeah, yeah. The thing is, the new links that are going to be sent out probably, that's why I have
Yeah, 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 yeah.
paid to the everybody. That's why.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's a different thing. But then
And yeah,
the my thing
wonderful
is
that
like
you're up.
an ongoing thing, So people see. There's one thing I want to say about this. You got a glass of water, right?
I do. Yeah.
No, I'm just
No, I know. I know.
listen to the whole thing, then you will understand.
Okay.
So we put some mud in it, right? And
Yes.
then you stirred it. Somebody stirred it and brought it to you, and you let it stay on the table. What happens?
The mud settles.
Yeah. So then the real water is up. That is very light, right? Like that. The whole Brahman is there. Is only one. And all these thoughts are settled down, then the real thing is there. And then what is important is you settle down these things.
Yeah.
Be stay there and then let the thoughts go down so that the deeper silence is touched.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking all the time. Be that, be what you are. That's it. So you get caught in this thought web, thought network, and then we want to escape from out of that. But what you need to do is stay still.
Yeah. Like when you get to, and then the interesting thing about your analogy is like the mud settles and you can drink the water.
Yeah. No,
Like that's the
you don't have to drink it. The thing
right,
is
right, right. It's
clarity,
clear. It's
clarity,
right.
clarity. But the thing is, you kind of rake up these thoughts with more thoughts. That's why
Right.
it never settles down. That's the point.
Yeah, we always get ourselves, and once we are inundated with thought,
Yeah,
we it just perpetuates. It
yeah.
continues to, like, more thoughts come and more thoughts come and more
That
thoughts come.
is the problem with the scholars,
Yeah.
intellectual.
Yes.
Because they think by uh, throwing more thought they can get the solution. The solution is actually quieting that thought. There's another thing, Martin. I think you will like this.
Yes.
Yesterday I was in a clubhouse room,
Okay.
and I was asked to talk about deep sleep and all that. I told them, okay, I will tell you some of the things. I was combining both modern and ancient, and I'll talk
Right.
about. Then there was a lady who came on, and he said, I want to share something. I was listening to this mantra from India, and that really settled down my anxiety, my all those things. So she was disturbed for some things, probably, and then they were all settled down. That's her point. And her point is, I want to share this to everybody, so I'm put it in the chat. So I went there and saw it, what that was about. That's about this Gayatri mantra. Okay,
Okay.
uh, Gayatri mantra. I know the spiritual significance of it, but actually, it was envisioned by a sage who is really trying to find the Brahman.
Mm.
And the moment he really becomes that Brahmashi, that is a sage with knowledge of the Tao,
Yeah.
immediately he breaks down with this one. And this is very famous mantra, and a lot of people practice it. So I went and investigated on this because I'm not somebody who is religious, right? I
Right.
want to understand, I want to see, really know what it is, right? I want to investigate myself. So I went and did it. And then there was so much there in that. Each word, Martin, has tremendous meaning.
Mm.
Not each word, each letter.
Yeah.
O, bhu, bhu, as. That is first word, right? And each one, each syllable there has meaning. Okay?
Yeah.
Uh, so I understood that. Then what it is it kind of takes your mind and thoughts and lands them in your spiritual heart.
Mm.
And then they say different qualities of the intellect. Okay, uh,
Yeah.
I'm telling you because you know what that spiritual heart is. That's why
Yes.
so there is a word in that. It's called dhimahi. That's the most important. Dhi is the spiritual heart. Mahi is mind. There's nothing like any religious, any particular Hinduism and all that. None of them were there at the time when they were envisioned this mantra. And
Yeah.
later these people grabbed it and then they said, oh, this is ours. But then at the same time, they have so much division in their mind. You know,
Yeah.
for me, Christian, Hindu, Muslim, all these things, they are meaningless to me. It's more like we are all human beings first. Okay, all these ancients are present. They all talked about that. Why do you have to label it and separate yourself? Just
Well,
tell,
that's identifying, right? That's
yeah,
identity. That is identity with the manifestation. That's
yeah.
stepping away from spirituality.
Yeah, and then that identity dividing us. That's the problem, right?
Yep.
If
Yep.
you are just identified and you are doing your own thing and you say, I'm following this Christian scriptures and all, that's fine. But then you say other people are not Christian, that's why they are not good. That's
Right. Yeah. That's
the same,
right.
it's the same thing with Hindus or Muslims, anybody. So if you are following something, you are getting the wisdom out of it and you improve the life here on earth, that's a different thing, you know.
Yeah.
But if it makes a division, it contributes to the violence, everything that's going on, that's the problem. That's where I say I don't have to identify with anything, you know.
Right.
So then you can understand Tao, you can understand Brahman much, much easier than having all these thoughts about, oh, how, we are great, we are great. What the hell? There's nothing like that, you know. So, anyway, five qualities, right? First one is it really shows you what is a spiritual heart and go there and find it, right?
Yeah.
Second is it's called Medha. That means Medhasu means tremendous intelligence.
Mm.
The intellect who has this intelligence is far superior than the intellect who has brilliance but not having this expansive thing, right?
Yeah.
Number two is that. And the third one is called prajna. That means awareness. Okay? Not
Mm-hmm.
your thinking prowess, not your thinking intellectuals, not that. The awareness of that proficiency in the intellect, whatever you have, you are aware of it, right?
Yeah.
And is prajna. And then mriti, that means it's more like a spiritual fortitude. Okay. And
Hmm.
fifth one is smriti. You have a better memory because you got all the junk out of it.
Right. You know, and that's one thing that's happened with me, where it's like, my memory has
Yeah.
been better for some things, but like other things just leave.
Yeah.
I don't need it.
But then you have more aptitude for the deeper things.
Right.
And then you retain those things and then really get rid of all the junk that you don't need to.
Yeah.
So that clarity is there too. So these are the five different qualities of spiritual qualities are enhanced by just uh, really uttering that mantra. But the thing is, dhyayate mananam mantra. That is what it is. What it is your mind is turned more towards Brahman or the self by doing these things. If you just do them mechanically, no use.
That's right. Yeah.
This is junk, because but if you understand and live that meaning at that time, then this will increase. I think for me and other people who are doing this thing, the difference was I never do anything without understanding the meaning behind it.
Hmm.
Any of the scriptures, any of these things, all of that. No, just because somebody said, that's not sacred to me. But what
Right.
is sacred is, am I living that meaning now?
Yeah.
And then that's why you remember the practice what we're doing. There's layers of there in that. You cannot really see them unless you are measuring up to them by your own effort, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
And that's why there are layers and layers of things are embedded in that practice, taking you from the physical level all the way to interior.
Hmm.
That's why it cannot be one day. It's not like a sport. It's more like a spiritual practice. You are not getting into any particular ism because I don't propagate any ism. For me,
Right. Yeah.
all are human beings. We are all on only one earth. And also, much deeper is we are all in one Brahman, one Tao.
Yes. Yeah.
And the more we separate from that, the more. See, all this modern really partial to only intellectualism, they are doing so much damage to themselves and other without them knowing that they are stuck in one group.
Yeah.
Once you open it up, scientifically you can be investigating everything, but you know that's all external only.
It's always interesting to me when you start talking to an intellectual
Yeah, they're stuck.
and
They're stuck. That's what it is. They're
yeah.
stuck in mode, and then that's why you see. Unfortunate thing is they can never experience this spiritual, enlightening, blissful feeling,
Right.
and they cannot allow anything to seep in there. So that's why they never reach their own depths.
Right. And they're always trying to prove something.
But if you see, they have the loudest voice.
They do. They are. Yeah. And that's what I was even talking when, like with Coach Nicole, where when she came out, she's like, this number 15 was talking about all this stuff that was like, you don't have to prove it. And she was just like, but that, like, proving is everything. And it's like, right, but it's not. It's nothing.
Actually, real proof is in itself if you go to the depth, but you cannot touch
That's
it.
right. Yeah. Yeah.
If you're not a,
You can't use it. You can't
you are,
force anything.
yeah,
You
you're
can't.
not a deep swimmer, how can you touch the depth?
Right. Right.
And
And
that
that
this
and that was
the other thing is the unfortunate thing is deep thinking. They think deep investigation into the spiritual self. Not at all.
right.
The more you are deep thinking, the more you are out of the depth of it.
Right. Right.
You're
Yeah.
just in thinking. You are not beyond thinking.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, this is
It is
coming from a
surrendering.
modern physician is very shocking to people, but the experience is different, right? So
Right.
I always tell them my MD, MBI, nothing compared to this, what the ancients have this wisdom, you know.
Yeah.
I was bowled over, and I'm better off for it, and I'm trying to share with other people. Oh, there was an interesting case yesterday. Somebody called me, and um, I in the rooms I met her, and then she was talking to me about. She was having these dreams. You know, the dreams are about her ex boyfriend who had left, and he settled down with somebody else. But this lady was having pleasant dreams about him because she couldn't still eliminate him as her lover, right? He's
Yeah.
out, but she is not able to bury it. And then now the problem is you sleep, you have these pleasant dreams. But when you wake up, the reality is he's not there.
Yeah.
That's suffering, right? So
Yeah.
I told her, why are you hanging on to the past? You have tremendous amount of love within you. You cannot give it to somebody else. Then you will have a good life too.
Yeah.
It's that important not to be stuck in a thought.
It's so easy to get there when you rely on your mind
Yeah,
for
yeah,
everything.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the mind is only one aspect of it. Get out
Right.
of, it's like a cobra in a room.
Mm.
Pay attention to the mind, like your doors are closed, and you got to pay attention to the other. It will bite you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice talking to you, Martin.
It's always such a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining me.
Okay, bye.
Bye bye. We're gonna bring Lois up, and Lois is always good for a number. What's going on with Lois. Catch up a little with Lois. I was actually thinking I haven't talked to you in a little while, so I'm excited to see you. How's it going?
It's going good. Can you hear me?
I
Okay, I had to
can.
reload this whole doggone thing, and then it tell me I had to start a new profile, and I'm like, no, I don't think so. And I
Uh,
wasn't sure what it was gonna do, cause it just wouldn't come on today. At
yeah, that's
anyway, how
happened to
you
me in the
doing?
past.
Oh, it did
I'm
happen to
good.
you?
Yeah, I did a while ago. A while ago. Let's see. No, I'm doing good. I got I've been sitting with some things recently, and everything. It's like I'm here in Chicago, and it's February, and usually February is like below freezing and
Mm,
gray, and a couple days ago it was just really sunny and nice, and I started cutting some like garbage trees down on my property and stuff,
mhm.
and um and yesterday I spent the whole day just outside in the sun, like just hauling trees and cutting wood up and bringing it all back to the far back of the property where I can have a little fire sometime later. And it's just been really nice for me to just kind of just unplug, like inadvertently.
Yes.
I didn't I didn't do Tao of the Day yesterday, but I was just in the middle of other things. And it was really beautiful for me to just kind of be present with the land and spend it was like it was from like 9 to 4, so 7 hours, just kind of like cutting things up and hauling them back, and just being in the sun. And I was in a t-shirt the whole day, like outside. Like, I mean, I was working, so I mean it was probably like
What was the temperature though?
I
I
didn't
wonder
even look it
what you
up.
thought was good.
I didn't
'Cause-
even look it up, but it was probably in the upper 50s, lower 60s.
oh, get out! So
Yeah.
you guys are getting your beginning of your spring this soon?
Well, we better not be, but we are. Like I saw like yesterday when I was pulling up some things, I saw bulbs that had growth, and I was like, "Uh oh,
Uh
this is
oh.
early. This is
Uh,
early." Because hey, we can still get a blizzard. Like, it's
yes.
February, we could still get 20 inches of snow, because we've only had like 3 inches of snow, maybe tops, in the area, and that is not. And I mean, we've gotten a lot of rain, but
Uh,
locking that moisture up in snow is a real important part of our of the ecology of the area.
yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine. Wow,
Snow
man.
is real important.
I can get with that.
Yeah.
So I've
It's
been.
not it's not always pleasurable. Like last year I think it was just like it just kept snowing, and I was just it's those years where it's like, God, would it just stop? And then you get into March and you're like, we're almost there, and it's like it snows again, and that's when it snows a lot, and then it melts, but you still got to deal with the snow. You can't just let it sit for 2 days.
Well, all of it got a rhythm. We know that. So
Yeah,
but our job is not to try and fight the rhythm. Just to
that's
go
right.
with the rhythm of the natural processes and the natural seasons and the weather or whatever it is just to roll with it because we can adapt to anything.
We have, and we have to recognize that, and not hold on to what it's supposed to be. Just be here,
Okay,
do what it is.
that's right. That's
You know,
right. That's judgment because that's our judgment that it's supposed to be a certain way.
that's right.
So, anyway, I've been doing pretty good. I'm doing my class and having fun with it, and just learning more about myself and tweaking and moving and tweaking and moving and tweaking because we're always changing and metamorphosizing and transmuting energy. So my thing is, I'm learning other energy that I need to still transmute.
Yeah, well, there's always going to be more. There
Yeah.
is no destination out there for us. We're just always moving. Just like it's always in a cycle. It's always coming and going and coming and going. And like I think I talked to you about this idea that like the moment you think you understand yourself is the moment that that you should recognize that is over. You know, because it's like you learn, and then once you understand, it's over.
Yeah, it's over because guess what? You finna go through a new
Right.
metamorphosis.
Now you're someone else. Now you're moving into someone else. That's who you
That's
used to
right.
be.
That's
So
right.
let's get your ass moving. Like let's not
Uh,
sit let's not sit on our fucking haunches thinking
oh,
that
let's
we
not
got some
label
shit
it.
together.
Let's just not label yourself. Let label yourself as wherever you are. It's not where you're going to end up. So let's not put no labels on it. Just say, hey, I'm in a transitionary period, and that's every day.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. But anyway, because I'm going to do somebody's podcast later on today,
Oh, good.
and they want me to talk about the 12 universal laws. Let's pick 12 because I haven't
All
picked
right.
12 in a long time. I don't remember it.
Yeah. 12 is entitled The Senses. And I haven't read this one in a while, so I'm glad that you picked it. Colors blind the eyes of men, sounds deafen the ear of men, flavors dull the tongues of men. Thoughts will lead a mind to turmoil. Desires and greed will lead a life to turmoil. Therefore, the master satisfies her inner vision, allowing external cravings to come and go.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it. Oh wow, that was brief. I thought that was gonna keep on telling me something. All
Oh,
right, let's go because my mind was in okay. Absorb the information,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like it's over.
It's over. Well, see, like this one, and I don't know that I've read this to anybody. I don't know that that's true. I mean, maybe I have. This is my rendition. So it's colors blind the eyes,
Mhm.
sounds deafen the ears, flavors dull the tongue, and we end this one with this idea of like satisfy your inner vision and allow cravings to come and go. That's interesting that I utilize the word cravings, right? Because colors blind the eye. Why? Because when you see colors, you want more. When you hear sounds, you want more. When you taste flavors, you want more. That's what creates foodies and artists and like musicians and stuff. Not that those things are bad, but it's like you're you have cravings to fill those spaces.
Okay, read it out of a different translation. Let me see if I hear something different because right now I understand it, but it's not gaining a whole lot of ground.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll read. Colors blind the eye, sounds deafen the ear, flavors numb the taste, thoughts weaken the mind, desires wither the heart.
Ooh, okay.
The master observes the world, but trusts his inner vision.
Mhm.
He allows things to come and go. His heart is as open as the sky.
Okay, that says a lot more. It basically is saying don't be paying well to me this is my
Mhm.
interpretation based
I
on
got you. I got you.
okay, don't be paying attention to what you see around you, what you're hearing around you, even what you're tasting around you. One is transitory. Two, and it has its season. It's more about what, because we're in this world, but we're not of this world. We see all this material stuff, but we only see it because we have thought it first to manifest it.
Mm-hmm.
So when we get to the place where we know that these are just manifestations of our thoughts, we can hold to the inner vision and keep living our life, knowing that it's not all about the what we see, touch, hear, taste, or smell. It's about what's coming from the heart.
Right. And that's where this, in the first one that I read, therefore the master satisfies her inner vision, allowing external cravings, all of that stuff, to
Mhm.
come and go.
Yeah, because it's going to come and go.
That's
Because
right.
it's going to come and go because one, we create and we recreate. We create and then we transmutate. Okay,
Right.
right. And every time we create and transmute whatever we're creating, it changes its appearance to us. It changes its taste to us. It changes its smell. Our senses see it differently because if I change the way I think, if I change the way I see something, the what I see changes right there in
And
front.
right. Yeah.
Okay, so we can't pay attention to the senses when it comes to knowing what is. We got to pay attention to what's coming from the heart, what's coming from that inner knowledge, that inner spark, that divine spark that lies within us, and that it is that vision that we're to hold steadfast to, because that one never changes.
Right. That's always been there and it will always be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Beautiful.
okay, that's good. That's good because I
Yeah.
don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It's just like I don't know because the predicate it worked. This worked because I am talking about the 12 laws of the universe. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
where we're all one and where we're all energy, where we all have a vibration, where we all have a resonance of that vibration that has an attraction to different things, and based on that attraction we manifest things in our life, and that you know what I'm saying, it's
Well,
like
right. And
it
and
goes with all of it.
in this one by Stephen Mitchell, right, the master observes the world, and then you get these rules, you get these laws, right?
Hmm.
But no matter what, you trust your inner vision.
Yeah,
Because if your inner vision is filled with anger, let's say, and you're like, I don't want to be angry because I'm gonna manifest da 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 da. But it's like your inner thing is angry. Maybe it's angry for a very specific reason that needs to bring you somewhere that you need to go so that you can have the experience you need to have.
that's right. You got to allow the anger to come up, and
That's right. You don't have
you
to.
have to
You're
examine it, and you examine it, and
right.
if it's one, you got to see if it's warranted or even if it's yours. If
Right.
it's yours, for me, a lot of the stuff I encountered in my life and the shit I took on me wasn't even mine, and it was a hazard of my job being a therapist. Okay,
Right. Right.
it was shit. It was other people's shit that I carried along with me, not knowing that it was not mine because I did not examine it. I just accepted it as status quo.
Right. And that's the thing. Like these moments that you this is why you need to trust your inner vision. You
Mhm.
don't just go and respond and get angry and like do that. You feel angry and you say, "Oh, this is the thing. How can I trust that this is here for me?" And then just examine it. Just kind of be here.
Man,
Yeah,
I
you
don't.
can observe the
Wait,
world, but you
wait,
don't have to respond.
Martin, I know. I don't have to trust. I know that whatever comes into me is for me. Whatever I
Absolutely.
see is for me to do something about. Total responsibility. It ain't about, well, this ain't part of me. This ain't, oh, that's all theirs. No, that's no such thing because one affects the other because we're all one. And if
That's
I
right.
see it in somebody else, that mean that shit is in me. And that part needs to be cleaned up. That shows me my shadow side, if you
Hmm.
would, because I don't like
Yeah,
you
of
different terminologies for different things. It
course.
shows me what I need to clean up in me. It shows me where my thoughts are not lining up with my inner spirit. My where my
Yeah.
thoughts aren't of the authentic self that I am, that pure love light being that I am. And if it's not lined up, it needs to get dismissed, and
Hmm.
sometimes I'll dismiss it and then realize, oh wow, wait, it was a piece of that I needed. So if we don't check what we're going through, we'll throw away something that was for again the shit that's meant for our fertilization for our growth.
Yeah. And
And I
that's, like you're
every
saying,
for my growth.
yeah. And, like you're saying, like we go back to the other 12, the one that, the other translation, thoughts will lead the mind to turmoil, and desires and greed will lead a life to turmoil. Therefore, the master satisfies her inner vision,
That's right.
allowing external cravings to come and go. Just let him, like you have a craving to respond to your anger. Well, let that come and go. Observe it. Be here. Check your inner vision.
You mean react? You got to
Yeah.
think act to that. Now you have a responsibility, so therefore
Oh, right,
you
right, right.
can respond. Do
Yeah, you
not
can
react.
respond, but
That
yeah, you
react,
don't want to
that react,
react to
that
and
nasty stuff that comes
right.
up based on I'm gonna say muscle memory or negative bias. Okay,
Yeah.
unless you got a positive bias, then I say don't react, respond. But if
Yeah.
you got a positive bias, you can react because it's going to be positive. But most reaction is generally based on that negative bias,
Yeah.
that you got to do something about that which you feel at this moment. And some people say they don't want to, and then they stuff that energy in, and that energy tends to pile up and then turns into dis-ease or disorder in the system.
Mm,
So yeah, so I don't know. I've been studying for a while this morning. I've been up for a
yeah.
while. I
That's you.
probably need to go to sleep right now because it's feel like the day yesterday ran
What's the
in.
podcast you're going to be on? Oh, you muted. So this is what I think. I think my whole thing, uh the app for me is weird because I got it set for 15 minutes, but I bring you on and you have like the 16 minutes and like something seconds, and then the last minute and something seconds you get cut off, and so like I'm always confused as to
Okay,
how it all works.
so I'm gonna be on Shaman Isis's podcast.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it's gonna be at like 12, but I know she's gonna have to edit it, and it'll probably be out on
Yeah,
the
so
week.
that's not getting done on wisdom. It's going to be
Right, that's not being done on Wisdom.
all right. Well, good
I
luck to both of you. You guys are
Well,
going
the
to take
rest
a
of
break
the
from me.
every most of the only thing that I actually do on Wisdom that's usually scheduled is right now
Is on
my
Sunday.
is my Sunday, yeah. And then some people ask me, and sometimes I'm not able to do what people ask me because I have something else that's more pressing that I've already committed to. Because I
Sure.
don't believe in breaking a commitment for
No.
something else, even if it sounds better.
Yeah.
Okay, because I had that opportunity this weekend, man. I was out dancing, and my friend invited me on Saturday to come to a different place where my favorite band was playing. So I was like, I usually don't go on Saturday because I teach on Sunday morning. I like being fresh, and so I said, okay, I'm gonna go because she invited me, and she never usually does do that. I didn't even know her name, okay, but she
Mm.
knows me from seeing me all the time. So I figured this was inspired.
Yeah.
So I went, and another one of the people that I danced with was there, and she had a lot of her friends from one of her friends from the South Carolina brought several other friends with them to Vegas for the Super Bowl party stuff they do here.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm not dating, but these men, okay, they were my age. They were, oh my God, ranging in all colors, heights, and sizes, and dress GQ and smelling like, oh my God. Okay. So it was lusciousness to me. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I don't see that often here.
Ugh, you get
Not
it.
like, not like that. Not in, and I'm like, wow. It's like, boy, it's a smorgasbord, but I had a commitment
Yeah.
to
Well,
teach
that
class in the
happens.
morning. So,
That happens.
I had to
Well, it's
make.
just showing you what's possible. That's all.
Yeah, and you know what? And that's what I said. I told somebody else. They said, "Well, Lois, why'd you leave?" I said, "Because of the fact that I made a commitment, okay?
Yeah.
And I made a commitment to myself also not to give out of my rations."
Right.
Okay, I only give after I've rested. And if I had went out and I still I mean I came home earlier. I left there at 11. So I had plenty more time.
Hmm.
And I was like, "Oh my god, I had to fight myself." But I knew that my commitment was more important than that whatever that would have could have been or turned out to be, because I figure it was just giving me a sample of helping me narrow down what I wanted him to dress and smell like. Okay? Because
Uh-huh.
I never have a solid vision of what I want to date and who I want, other than the fact that they're nice and they're mature mentally, spiritually, sexually, every way secure and mature within
Hmm.
themselves. But I never had a look. So I've kind of
Yeah.
dated tall, short, big, fat, skinny, and all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. And recently, people have been coming to me with one trait that I'm like, oh wow. Now the rest of this shit was bullshit. But it was like, ooh, I like his height. Ooh, I like his
Yeah.
body. Ooh, and now this time it was, ooh, I like the way they dress. And then somebody was trying to hit on me on online. Oh, I like the fact that they offered me anything I wanted and said that I would have an allowance. Okay, I like that shit.
All right.
So I
Yeah.
figure I'm just picking the pieces. I'm being allowed to see what's out there and pick what I want. Narrow down my preferences, compare and contrast.
Yeah.
That's what the whole polarization thing is, because you get to compare and contrast stuff, and then you get to know better what you want, because you know that the contrast is necessary, the good, the bad, the up, the down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I get to choose.
That's right, you do.
so so on Saturday, with all those good smelling people and dressed to the nines, and making sure that all the women chairs were being pulled out, and man, they were buying. Oh man, I was like, oh yeah, this is the ticket.
Yeah.
Although like I said, I didn't cash it that day because I had a commitment. You
That's
know,
right. Well,
and,
that's
and
all right because it's
so
out
so
there.
yeah, man, tell me about it.
It's out there.
So
Gentlemen, start your engine.
yeah, basically, okay. So
Yeah.
it was pretty cool. But the thing is the bottom line is that when we go with what's inside of us, that true part of us, that divine spark, and we are following that leads to the inner recesses of our DNA. I'm gonna say it like that. Because
Hmm.
it ain't the stuff in our mind, it's in our DNA that gets released to our thoughts,
Yeah.
okay, or it gets released to our body. Like the healing I got since I been doing all this different work. I didn't have all I had to do was change some foods and know that I was healed already, regardless to how I felt. And next thing within a couple of years, all 46 diseases are gone. So I'm like,
Yeah.
so when we put what we know to use, I figure we learn, and instant application is the key to learning. I learned that long time ago, and
Yeah.
as long as I continue to apply all this stuff I'm learning, I'm gonna be good. So
That's right.
I thank
Trust
you.
that inner vision.
Oh, that's right. There it is right there. And my inner vision is to do exactly what I've been doing here on this app for the last year and well, I guess it's a year and a half now.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is what I've always wanted to do.
Yeah.
Just do this and not and be 100% me, not give it a damn what anybody think about me.
Right. Yeah.
And it's that part, and for me it's that part I still struggle with is my judgment of myself and my judgment of circumstances. And that's what this class is helping me with, because it's helping me to begin to, when I felt that hijacking come, to do sensate focusing, where
Good.
you're focusing on your senses, where you're rubbing your fingers together, or wiggling
Hmm.
your toes, or grounding yourself in the moment, in the present, and focusing on that, as opposed to the all of the thoughts that fly through your head all the time, that all
That's
that
right. Yep.
chatter, and you slow all that down. And when you slow down the mind chatter, you can hear that inner voice so much clearer. That's why I use Ho'oponopono all the time. That's to kill the mind chatter right on the spot. And when I hear that trigger come, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, what did you just trigger in me? And it's not that they did something. It's what's coming up to be healed.
Hmm.
So But
Yeah.
yeah, I like that. I like this one. This one was
Good.
good. This one was good. Yeah, it was a little more elaborate than your his translation was a little bit more elaborate than yours. Because I was like, hey, it ended. What happened? So I don't know, but yeah, it was good. Thank you, Martin John,
Well,
and
absolutely.
hopefully I will see you next month. I haven't
I'm
got my
looking forward
ticket
to it.
yet. I'm waiting on my daughter to give me some more information so I can buy this ticket.
Yeah.
But
Well, I'm ready.
okay, all right. Well, I will be talking to you soon.
All
Okay,
right,
bye.
love. Bye bye. Julie is on, and we're gonna chat with her for a bit. Hey, Julie, how you doing?
I'm all right. How are you?
I am well. We are going to be talking this afternoon
We are.
or this evening for you. I'm
Yes,
excited
yeah.
about all that.
I thought I'll talk to you about that before we start. So give me plenty of time. So I would like for you to kind of choose what you'd like to do.
Oh,
Okay, because
I'm always I'm in your hands.
oh, bless
But
you,
but we
bless
will
you.
but we will. I mean, we'll chat. We'll chat.
Yeah, that's cool.
Is this going to be done on Zoom, or how are we going to do it?
Um, we can do Zoom. I don't know how to do that, so you'll have to lead me through that. But that would be
Okay.
great if
Have
we
you
could do
ever
it on
done
Zoom.
a Zoom call?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
well then I will create a room after I'm done here and then
Hmm,
send you an invitation. I have your email, I
brilliant.
believe, don't I?
Yes, you do. You got
Okay.
it all, Martin John. You
Good,
got it
good, good.
all.
And if not,
Thank you so
I
much.
can send you the link on WhatsApp and then we'll
Yeah,
set it up.
that is brilliant. That is brilliant. Thank you so much.
All right.
We are in Cornwall.
You are in Cornwall right now.
Yes, we
Like
are sitting.
is Tom at the boat?
Not yet. He is moving to the boat a little later. So
Okay.
it's very strange. We've all been gathering bits and pieces that we find may be important to us, which is really weird because some of the things you gather are strange and some of the things you leave behind are strange as well. So,
Hmm.
lovely Jaleesa has packed up everything that she can and gone 5 hours drive east of here.
Of Cornwall.
And she's gone, yeah, actually, she's left Cornwall and she is going to Sussex. But she's
Ah,
there
okay.
now. She's there now. So she's done this huge move and gathering everything together and embracing a new experience of
Now
people around
is
continually.
she what's the question I want to ask? Um
She's
is
Lily's
she
mum.
making a permanent move?
She is testing the waters, which is why we are where we are. We
Okay.
are we are keeping this space for her, just in case.
I see. I see.
And whilst we're keeping this space for her, it's a space where we can be until we then go and get this bigger boat. So it's
Yeah.
all working out really well for us
It,
all.
surprise, surprise,
Surprise,
huh?
surprise. So in my claim of being absolutely spontaneous, there is a lie, which I'm going to put my hand up to and say I don't always just go free falling because I I want to see my path. Whether that path changes, fine, I can cope with that.
Okay.
And that will come if it's going to come. It'll do whatever it's going to do. But there's a faint little line that I've kind of drawn on a little scrappy bit of paper of an idea that is conjured up by me, so it can all change. But
Yeah.
that's all right. That's fine
Well,
as well.
that's the same thing that I said with my idea of moving to Spain. I
Yes.
wanted to move to Spain, but all of the things that I wanted in Spain were things that I thought that I could get in Spain. And
Yeah.
apparently, I was able to get them in Indiana.
Yes.
Like I have it all here. Like I wanted a house that I'd be able to repair and build and slowly and whatnot. Well, that's what I got. And, I wanted it to be able to earn money, and I have a property that I can rent on here. And so all of the things that I wanted. So it wasn't really about Spain. And I knew that, like, and I'd always said, Spain is just just a sort of
An idea.
an idea. But
It's a fake drawing. It's a
right.
faint line. Yes.
and
Yeah.
and the things that I'm attracted to are always going to find their
Yeah.
way to me.
Yeah.
But we'll take that one step at a time, and here we
That's it.
are, just
Yeah.
building this whole Spain right here.
It's great, isn't it? Isn't
It's
it
amazing.
fantastic?
Yeah. And I
So
didn't
yeah.
have to, like, I mean, I moved to another state, and another state is like moving to another country. I need a new driver's license, and I need a new, like, all
Yes.
the
Yeah.
things are different.
Yeah.
It's not like, I mean, I can drive in Indiana with my Illinois license, but I can't live in Indiana with a Illinois license.
Yeah. It's very strange, isn't it? But they need to keep a tab. We need to
Well,
know
yeah.
where you are based.
Well, these are, like, these are 50 different countries. I mean, we
Yes.
just deal with things nationally through the overarching, um,
Umbrella of.
government
Yeah.
of the United States, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, like when you talk about the state, a state like Germany is a state. Um,
Mm. It's
France
strange.
is a
People don't.
state.
Yeah, people don't realize that about America, do they? They see it
No.
all as one place, I'm so glad you've mentioned that because
Yeah.
it is exactly like that. It's lots of countries, lots of states all together on the same plateau of Earth.
And that's where a lot of problems come in, because people see it as one country,
Yes.
and so they want the same rules, but you can't have the same rules in Montana as you do in New York City.
Yeah.
Like Montana, there's like your closest neighbor might be a couple miles away, and there's
Yeah.
mountains and other shit like that. And if you have the same fucking rules in Montana as you did in New York City, then you'd be able to come together with your neighborhood and build a new street. Well, you can't do that in New York City. Like, that is not, they will not allow you to do that. And if you told people in rural Montana that they can't do that, well, they'd freak the fuck out, because they definitely need to be able to build their own roads when they want to. You know what I mean? And so
Yeah.
that's the thing. We that's why we have each different place. And
Which
you know
brings me back to Chrissy when she said, "When in Rome."
that's right. Hmm.
So yeah, that's good. Um, I'm just happy to talk to you and to ask you for a dab. And today I'm going to choose number 64 because I like the Beatles song.
64. Interestingly, um, I was looking at 64. I was looking at just the number 64 earlier, when I was kind of like flipping through. I was just like, oh, there's that one.
Do you ever
Okay.
find when you read a Dow, someone's chosen a number that you are? I was talking about this last night in the middle of the night when I should have been asleep. Um, when I'm talking, sometimes I find that what I'm saying is something for me to actually listen to, something for
Hmm.
me.
Yeah, absolutely. Always, always. Well, because
Yeah.
for me, I there are no other people, right? You are here. And this, it's stated this way in the Tao, like life is a gift received from Tao, and everything is sustained in support of that gift, right? And so your life is being sustained in support of the gift of my life,
Yeah.
and my life is being sustained in the support of the gift of yours. And
Yes.
so I can let go of my ego, and I can let go of my ability, or my wanting to control shit, because it can be like, no, I'm going to be sustained because I'm here for Julie in this house, and I'm here for all these other people and all these other things, and like my life is being sustained for them. And I don't have to sit here and feel foolish or feel selfish. I
Mm.
can just allow myself to receive. Okay, so
Yeah.
this one is 64. It's
Okay.
so easy is the title. It is a little longer, so we'll go through it quickly and then we'll kind
Okay.
of double back.
Okay.
It is easy to stop something before it is set into motion. It is easy to plan something before beginning it. It is easy to break something before it has grown strong. It is easy to hide something before it has grown big. Preventing problems has never been the problem. Tiny sprouts do this and grow to unimaginable heights, and every journey has started with the first easy step. Avoiding the easy is what has created all difficult problems. Rushing past the easy things will end up costing you. Grasping onto the destination, you lose sight of where you are. Facing things, forcing things to be what you want, when you want, will only turn those things against you. Therefore, the master monitors her desire for an outcome. She remains as calm at the beginning as at the end, so she can see what is in front of her. She embraces the mundane and doesn't prize rarity. Doing this, the master reminds those around her of who they have always been, and they are inspired. Caring about nothing but Tao, she cares for all things.
That's beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah.
They always are, though. I always find that these verses are so, they're so calming in a way. They just hold you in a moment. You know, as you're reading, I'm soaking in, and the words are playing in my thoughts. And they just are so real, is
Yeah.
what I like. They're so absorbable.
Yeah. You know, like I like when I look at these, I always kind of sometimes, I do the end and the beginning. Well, what does it say at the end and how does it start? And then doing this all this work of, stuff. Um the master reminds those around her of who they have always been, and they are inspired. Caring about nothing but Tao, she cares for all things. So that's where we end. Caring about nothing, so she doesn't care about anything but Tao.
Mm.
So in doing that, she cares for all things. And then we go to the beginning and we got this quad of easy things. It is easy to stop something before it is set into motion. It is easy to plan something before beginning it. It is easy to break something before it has grown strong. It is easy to hide something before it has grown big. So caring about nothing but Tao, she cares for all things, is how
Mm.
we end. And that's where we start, this idea of like, it's easy to stop something before it is set into motion.
Yeah.
When you don't know what you got in front of you, you know what I
No.
mean? Everything is a mystery.
Yes.
And if you don't care about the destination, if you don't care about what it's supposed to be doing, then
Yeah.
then you can trust what it is your what it is your intuition is telling you,
Yeah.
what
And where
nature
I
is
am
telling
right now, that's the thing about it is I can trust where I am right now, how I feel right now.
you. Right.
Brad's all tired out. He's been running around putting logs in buckets and tidying the rubbish and generally doing a few things, which is lovely. He's active.
Yeah. And you just get lost in that, and it's okay. Like, you don't use that as a way to escape anything,
No.
right? And that's what this is saying, right? It's easy, even this one, it's easy to hide something before it has grown big. He's putting away the rubbish, he's carrying things around, whatever. Before it gets to be a bigger problem, you deal with it now, because
Yeah.
now is the time to deal with it, this moment.
Yeah.
And then it says, preventing problems has never been the problem.
No.
Like, right, you can always prevent problems by just going with your going with your natural instinct and deal with
Yeah,
what's in
because
front of you.
those will arrive anyway.
That's
So
right.
you don't have to think of anything as a problem. It'll just arrive when time is.
That's right.
You don't. It's almost what I say quite often is don't be worrying about something. Just do
Yeah.
it
Just
or
do it.
don't do it. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're going to cut off soon, so definitely come back if you have a moment.
I do, and I've got plenty of
Good.
battery as well, Martin John. I'm fully loaded.
Okay.
I thought I'd prepare myself this time before coming on. So I think it's
So
quite rude of my battery to go mid sentence.
I did, yeah. I heard that. I heard you. I came back on and I saw you pop back on with
The
Moth and
Duco,
stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, which is such delightful people,
Yeah.
really, really.
You know, this next line, this next line, um, now I'm going to remove you because I think that has to happen. Now you can try and come back on. So this next line is really interesting because it's like avoiding the easy is what has created all difficult problems. You know, and that's a beautiful line that is really deep. Avoiding the easy is what has created all difficult problems. Rushing past the easy things will end up costing you. Grasping onto a destination, you lose sight of where you are. Like sometimes, like if you're in a relationship or if you're at a job, like speaking up is the easy thing. Telling someone how you feel or what you're thinking or whatever is really easy. And yet, it might be difficult for you because you're not accustomed to it.
Mm,
And if you're not accustomed to it, well, let's rush past that easy thing and let's just brush it under the rug and let's not say anything. Let's not rock the boat.
let's just brew it inside.
Right. But as this line states, avoiding the easy is what has caused all difficult problems.
Yes,
Even though it's going to take a little work, trust me, if you don't say anything, if you don't do anything, you are going to be creating a bigger problem.
yeah, it grows.
That's right. Rushing past the easy thing will end up costing you.
Yeah,
Grasping onto a destination, you lose sight of where you are. You're here and you're like, oh, well, I'm just going to get past this. That being the destination, past this. But the thing
mm,
is whatever is past this, there is more there. It's not like you're at a destination. There is no destination. So you have to deal with this now.
yeah,
And it's easy.
yeah. I agree with you there. I think as things arrive, be in that moment with it for sure.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, you'll be forever traveling around that rock that will just grow and grow and grow and grow, and you'll never get round the rock really. You may think
Right.
you're almost round it, but there's another curve, and you've got to go around that, and then there's a jagged bit, and you've got to go around that. That's why I think it's great if you can just look at the rock, notice
Right.
it, observe it, deal with it now, fathom its length, its depth, its width. Look at it, take it in, deal with it, because
Hmm.
that's easier than traveling around it, constantly looking for the past, for around it, the
Right.
beyond. Yeah, yeah,
And then
definitely.
like that's the thing when you're focused on a destination. Let me get around this rock, and then everything will be okay.
Mm,
When I have $1 million, everything will be okay. When I have my house, everything will be okay. When I get the floor in, everything will be okay. All of
yeah,
those are destinations. And it's like when you can just do what's in front of you right now and not do, it's like when you sit down to rest and you're like, oh, well, I got all this stuff to do. For what?
mm,
To get to some destination? Do what's in front of you. But then when it's time to rest, do that.
yeah, yeah. It's a lot deeper than you realize, I think, when you
Yes.
think about it. Because when I have done a thing and I've not invested in being in the moment by moment experience, there is nothing left for me to look at. It's like reading a really good book. And it's a long book. And so what you do is you read the beginning chapter and then you look at the last page. But you'll never, you know where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
You don't get the depth, the feeling of the story. You just are not traveling with, are you? You're not. That's exactly what it's like. That's how I've read what you've just said to me. Is
Yeah.
it's like picking up a book, reading the first couple of lines, looking at how big the book might be, how long it might take you, and then just flicking to the end page, thinking that when you read that last page, you're going to know what's happened in that story, and you're not. You're
Right.
just not.
And that's the, and that's the interesting thing. Like a book, and you're reading a book, has a lifespan.
Yes, it does.
And that lifespan is, that is like your destination is death, right? Like that is the lifespan of the book and your experience with the book. I mean, it may have different iterations and it may come back and stuff, all of this, because you can read it again. But
Mm.
but when you just look at the end, like, and then you put it down or whatever, like that's your experience with the book.
And also, you'll always know you never read the book.
Right. That was something that plagued me because I do not like to read.
You did
And
what my son did, didn't you?
what
He
was
does
that?
that. He flicks through, picks up a couple of sentences here and there, and he's through a book in minutes.
Yep, yep, yep. That's kind of what I did. And sometimes I didn't even open them. I just put them on the shelf.
Yes, they look good. Cover's
They
nice.
look good. And that was my, and that, like I remember in my 30s, in my late 20s, early 30s, I got rid of all of my books. And I was like,
Right.
I don't want books in my home because because of many reasons, but it
Yeah,
was it
one of
was
them
a
is that you
yeah.
don't read books.
I don't read, like, and and I, for a long time when I was a kid and stuff, like, had books around
Yeah,
because I didn't want to admit that I didn't read and I didn't
yeah,
want to read,
yeah,
you know. And then I went into the whole, like, books are for losers, reading is for losers, all of this kind of stuff, like,
yeah.
like just putting down other people because of shit that I was afraid of admitting and stuff. But
Mhm.
that was about a destination, like that's all about, like reading a book. The relationship you have with the book will end at the last page. So when you go through that journey, you are going through a complete journey with the book, and then it completes. You continue with your experience of having read the book, but there is a destination that you have with the lifespan of your relationship with the book.
Yeah, yeah. I've my experience of that is if I've picked up a book that is really I've invested in by feeling everything and enjoying the words on the page, when I get to the end of the book, I do get this kind of empty feeling. Like, oh, I wish I hadn't read it so fast. I wish I'd taken my time with every sentence. But if I had, it would have been dull.
Right. And that's the thing, like, right, like we always want things to be a little, here's this next line, is what you're just talking about.
Yeah,
Forcing things to be what you want when you want will only turn those things against you.
correct. Yes.
So it's not that, like, you like you have this, oh, I wish I would have, but it's like, no, 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 because that would be you forcing the situation. Just like
That's
when a relationship ends, it's like, oh, I wish I would have. No, this was
appreciate what
perfect.
you had, appreciate that
Like, why? Yeah,
experience.
right.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, why didn't you? Right. And maybe you had appreciated it just as much as you could.
Yeah,
Now you've learned something and you can move on getting more out of
yeah, more experience, different
it. Right.
experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I would never, when looking back through my life, any relationship that I ever had gave me something.
Yeah. Right.
And
And that's what everything is going to give you. Everything's going to give you
Also,
something.
yes,
It's not going to give you exactly what you want when you want. It's going to give you it's
absolutely,
going to give
yeah,
you something, and
yeah,
then you're going to use that to move on. Hopefully, if you're smart.
yeah, absolutely. If you're smart, just see what it's given you. Just
Yeah.
see what it's given you. It's given you something, and you can move forward with that.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
Therefore, the master monitors her desire for an outcome. She remains as calm at the beginning as at the end, so she can see what is in front of her.
Mm.
And that's the thing, things begin and end all the time, like the book and the
Yeah.
relationships and all those things. There is a destination for the relationship, there is a destination for the book, there is a destination where those things will end, and they will end. But it isn't a place to be. That thing
Also,
ended. You
yeah,
didn't.
when you go into these things, you're not looking at the end, are you?
No, unless you're bothered by the length of the book and you look at the back.
But when you pick up a book, it's your curiosity that drives you into the book. Or if you're in a relationship, it's your curiosity about a person, wanting to know a
Right.
person even more, that drives you into that relationship. So you're never looking at the end, but
Yeah.
it will come at some point, one way or another.
Mm-hmm.
But just not worrying about that destination
That's right.
is a great place to be.
Yeah.
Enjoying all that it has to give and giving it all that you can.
Mm-hmm.
And ta-da! It's all
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
It's all gravy.
And doing this, and this is where it ends. It's about like, and I think this is about like when you can do this. The master reminds those around her of who they have always been, and they are inspired. Now, it's not saying the master teaches. It's saying by doing this, by doing what? By monitoring her desires for an outcome.
By just living, you
Right.
can inspire others. You don't have to purposely set out to inspire
That's right.
somebody,
Because you
because
never will. If you
yeah,
set
and
out
you
to
don't
inspire
know,
people, you're
yeah,
just
you
going
don't
to let
know,
them down.
yeah, absolutely, because you don't know what that inspiration for them might be.
That's right. And
So,
so by her, by the master,
mm,
just living without a desire for an outcome, she reminds those around her of who they have always been, and
mm,
they are inspired. She's reminding them of who they have always been because she is approaching this moment at this moment, and they can't help but recognize that this moment is what I've always been.
yeah,
And they happen to be inspired because they are inspired from within.
mm,
And she doesn't care about anything but Tao. And what is Tao? Tao is what is experienced, what is being experienced at this moment. By not caring for, by caring about nothing but Tao, meaning I don't, and that's what I've told people that for years, just like I don't care.
mm,
I don't care about your sobriety. I tell people all the time. Like that's
yeah,
just a beverage choice. I care about you. And I care about you because you are Tao.
that's lovely.
And by being able to do that, you care for all things.
Yeah, that's it. It's the life essence. It's all about the life essence that is around us, in us, next to us, forward from us, backwards from us. Everything is that life essence, that
Yeah.
Tao.
Yeah.
And that's what shines every day when you see it.
That's
Just
right.
notice it. It's just noticing it. It's awe inspiring in a way. And
Yeah.
then say, wow, but this is just so ordinary as well.
Right.
Yeah, that's fine. All things in it are fine. They are all experience, which is, again, Tao.
Yeah. And this is entitled It's So Easy. This is what this is titled. It's titled It's So Easy. And
Mm,
and all it's saying is don't have a destination.
Yeah, I think the word that rings in my head is simplicity.
Yeah.
I used to, when I lived in a flat with Claire when she was really, really small,
Mm-hmm.
I used to look around the flat and there was nothing in it. Everything that was in it was secondhand or battered and old. And I used to feel that that wasn't enough for me.
Mm.
And now all I want to get back to is battered, old, and doesn't matter stuff.
That's right. Yeah.
If
Yeah.
only I could go back and tell myself, just like starting that book again, but
Well,
the
there,
book is red.
there's such a difference between being forced to have your battered old stuff and
Yeah.
choosing it. And you had to go through choosing it, or you had to go through being forced to have it in
Yes.
order
Yes.
to appreciate
Choose it.
the
Yeah.
choice.
Yes.
Yeah,
Absolutely that. Yeah.
absolutely.
So that's why don't worry about your destination. Enjoy what is
Yeah,
right now. Because one day you may do a Julie and go, actually, I was blessed.
yeah. And you always are, always will be.
Take care, my lovely. I will speak to you later.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Love
Thank
you.
you so much.
Happy
Love.
Valentine's Day. Thank you all so much for joining me here on Tao of the Day. The Tao of the Day I try and present every day. I don't always get around to do it every day, but I do love the Tao of the Day, and what it is a presentation of the Tao Te Ching. Um, yeah, and so if you appreciate the work that I do here on Tao of the Day or here on Wisdom, please consider giving me a tip over at Venmo at martinjohn_Garcia. And until next time, keep recovering yourself.